I'm here with Miss Beverly Robinson, who is president of the National Civil Rights Museum. Beverly, now you correct me, but I think I know a few things about you.
I think you know more than a few, Rose.
Melrose High School graduate.
Absolutely.
Miss Melrose High.
Absolutely.
University of Memphis graduate.
Absolutely.
Spent a number of years in corporate communications at Holiday Inns, trust marketing with your husband, Howard Robinson, and then the National Civil Rights Museum.
That's right.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
Why the National Civil Rights Museum, and how did that happen?
Well, it's a very interesting story. I actually was working with Holiday Inn when the company was sold to Bass PLC out of London. And I was offered a relocation package to Atlanta. And once my husband told me I could go on, but he wasn't going with me, I decided that maybe I better stay. Two members of the board approached me and asked me to take the job. If they think I can do it, I can do anything for a short period of time. And so a short period of time grew into the Freedom Award, and we had one of the most successful Freedom Award events that the organization had had in its history. And they decided that I was the person, so they offered me the opportunity to stay on.
So how long have you been at the museum now?
It's 10 years
10
now.
years.
10 years. Whoever would have believed that? Not I.
Okay, in case there's anybody who's not been to the National Civil Rights Museum, you got 1 minute. Just tell me a little bit about the museum and what you would see if you toured the museum.
Well, the museum really is an institution that is located at the site of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and it really chronicles key episodes of the American Civil Rights Movement. Several years ago in the early 2000s, we opened an expansion which really took it from 1968 forward. So the original building, the Lorraine Motel, goes from 1619 up to 1968. The building across the street really talks about the legacy of the movement, why people struggled, fought, bled, and died. And so you learn about contemporary issues and how those issues are manifest and why people really did struggle across the street.
It's very interesting. I think my favorite is actually being at the balcony and hear Mahalia Jackson sing. It's just such an emotional experience. Last year I saw the movie The Great Debaters, Denzel Washington directed. And one of the young men who plays a member of the debate team at Wiley College, which is a true story, was James Farmer.
Yes.
A great civil rights leader.
Absolutely.
At 14 years old, on the debate team at Wiley College, and the first thing I thought about was, I said, James Farmer was one of the first recipients of the Freedom Award.
He was indeed. And at the museum, you also will find a wall of Freedom Award recipients. Those are individuals whose life's work has been committed and dedicated to the struggle for civil and human rights. And we have had some phenomenal Freedom Award recipients. Just recently, we saluted Magic Johnson for his wonderful entrepreneurial spirit. And I have to tell you, I never would have thought that Magic was so awesome.
Yeah.
But Magic left the whole audience in awe.
Young people, make sure you dream big. And then you go after those dreams.
As did wonderful historian John Hope Franklin, and of course the president of Liberia, your Sarah, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So it was fabulous this year. But the one that most impacted me was Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela. Some controversy last year. Some questions about the makeup of the board, corporate control, and if there should be more community involvement. How are you addressing that?
Well, many people are not aware, first of all, of the fact that the museum stays in that building under lease agreement with the state of Tennessee, primarily because the state of Tennessee provided $4.4 million in funding by taking out a bond issue before the museum was built. So we stay in it free of charge. And every 8 to 10 years, we have to renew our lease with the state. Well, it seems that around the late 90s, the state included an option for the board, the Lorraine Civil Rights Museum Foundation Board, to be able to purchase the building. Now, understand, not an individual, but the board. And that happens every day in the city of Memphis, an old fire station. You know, the city might give it to a nonprofit organization, but essentially the operations of the institution remains the same. It still is a public entity. Nothing else changes. So the confusion was really around the dollar option, which the board agreed to negotiate a long-term lease.
Thank you, Ms. Beverly Robinson, president of the National Civil Rights Museum.
Continuing our Black History segment, I am cooking with Beverly Robertson, president of the National Civil Rights Museum. As you heard earlier in her interview with Rose Fenora, she's an extremely busy woman, but she decided to take a few minutes and do some soulful sides.
I'm delighted today to be cooking with you. And as you said, we have some soulful sides, and these sides can go with any dish, whether it's fish or pork, steak, chicken, anything that you want to eat. I'm going to do macaroni and cheese.
All right.
As the first side.
As the first side.
Now, what I like to choose is large elbow macaroni because it makes a fuller dish. The noodles are a lot fluffier.
I didn't think it mattered.
Well, it may not matter to some.
Okay,
it matters to me.
Yeah, 'cause you're a
it matters to
professional.
me.
All right. Okay.
Once you get your noodles together, you need to go ahead and pull out everything you're going to use. I've got some olive oil here. I also have some cheese whiz, and I bet you're wondering how we're going to use that, but I'm going to show you in a minute.
Because I was surprised to see that.
Yes.
I have never used cheese whiz.
So I'm going to show you the secret to nice, light, fluffy, juicy macaroni.
cheese. Well, I know it's
Yes.
good because you know I've tried it. Okay.
And here's some cheddar. I have some Colby cheese that I've already cut up. This is real butter. And then this is Velveeta cheese that we are using, and also some mozzarella. So the first thing you do is you take some water and you boil it.
Okay.
So I've already actually boiled it. Now, when you put your noodles in, make sure that the water is boiling. Add a little olive oil so that it will loosen the noodles. Now, that's what my mom said. You know,
and I believe in that.
I do
it
too.
Does. And would you add a pinch of salt at that time?
You can add a pinch of salt to it. Now, once you get your noodles nice and fluffy, and I have them here, and you've already cut up your cheeses, you need to start the layering process. We're going to add some of the cheeses. Take a little bit of garlic salt. You add the pepper. That's your base layer. So we added the noodles. We added some of the cheddar. We added some butter. Now another layer. Now, this is the key to success of great macaroni and cheese. Take about a cup of milk.
Any kind of milk?
It can be 2%, it could be skim, it could be pet milk, it can be, homogenized, just fully homogenized milk. We're gonna take the eye on the oven and turn it to low. So maybe somewhere between a 2 and a 4. Add a cup of milk. And then I'm going to get out 1 egg. This is my secret.
This is
now
your
remember,
secret dish.
this is a secret. Okay, so I want you to add some of the cheese. Yeah, just dump it in.
Just dump it in.
Yeah.
Cheese whiz.
Dump it in, and I'm gonna beat it up a little bit. We're gonna top it off with a little bit of mozzarella and then the shredded cheddar.
Okay.
And we'll stick it in the oven, and it'll be ready to go. And we have one all ready to come out.
Prepared. And I can't wait to taste it.
Ooh, and it's bubbling and beautiful.
We're going to go to break. We'll be right back with more Cooking with Beverly Robertson. She's going to cook up a scrumptious squash dish.
Yes.
Okay.
The Yvette George Show is brought to you in part by Dr. O.T. Sykes Dental Office, located at 1399 Airways. Remember, he puts style in your smile. For more information, 901-323-7613. Hair and makeup provided by Mr. George of Studio One and Tri-Image Cosmetics.